Most people believe luxury is a reward, a visible sign that years of effort finally paid off. Modern culture constantly reinforces that idea. Expensive watches, designer brands, luxury cars, penthouses, and exclusive experiences are presented as proof that someone has made it. But luxury is often misunderstood because the most powerful luxury purchases are rarely financial decisions. They are emotional decisions. A luxury watch tells the same time as an ordinary watch. A luxury car reaches the same destination. A designer jacket protects you from the same cold. Yet, people willingly pay 10, 20, or even 100 times more. Why? Because they are not only buying an object, they are buying meaning, status, recognition, identity, validation. Modern society transformed luxury into a psychological shortcut. It became a way to communicate success without speaking. Every expensive object silently tells a story. The uncomfortable question is simple. If nobody could see your lifestyle, would you still want it? Many people discover that part of the appeal comes from visibility. Luxury is often less about ownership and more about social perception. And perception became one of the most valuable currencies in the modern world. For thousands of years, humans used symbols to communicate social rank. Ancient kings built monuments. Roman elites displayed wealth through architecture, clothing, and public celebrations. The objects changed, but the psychology remained remarkably similar. Today, luxury fulfills the same function. A Rolex communicates success. A Ferrari communicates status. A penthouse communicates exclusivity. These objects operate as social signals that help people position themselves inside society's invisible hierarchy. The human brain pays attention to those signals because status has always influenced opportunity, influence, and belonging. This is why luxury feels emotionally powerful. It transforms social position into something visible, something measurable, something people can instantly recognize. The danger appears when status symbols stop being expressions of success and become substitutes for self-worth. Because self-worth has no finish line. There is always someone richer, newer, more exclusive, or more admired. When confidence depends on comparison, satisfaction becomes temporary by definition. Luxury brands discovered something extraordinary about human behavior. People rarely buy products. They buy identities. The best advertisements do not focus on functionality. They focus on transformation. Buy this watch and become respected. Buy this car and become admired. Buy this lifestyle and become important. The object becomes a bridge between who people are and who they wish they could be. This is why luxury marketing is so effective. It does not sell leather, steel, or fabric. It sells emotions, belonging, recognition, exclusivity, importance. For a brief moment, the purchase creates a psychological high. The buyer feels elevated, more confident, more visible, more successful. But eventually reality returns. The object never truly changes the person. Many people spend years purchasing symbols of confidence instead of building confidence itself. They chase the appearance of transformation while ignoring the deeper work that creates lasting self-respect. Luxury promises happiness but often delivers temporary stimulation instead. The excitement feels real. The anticipation feels real. The emotional high feels real. And that is precisely why luxury can become addictive. The brain adapts incredibly fast. What once felt extraordinary becomes normal. The dream watch becomes just another watch. The dream car becomes ordinary transportation. The dream apartment becomes familiar. Then the search begins again. Something bigger, something rarer, something more expensive. How many things have you desperately wanted only to stop caring about weeks later? Humans are experts at adaptation. The object changes. The emotional hunger often remains. Some people spend decades upgrading their lifestyle without ever feeling satisfied. Not because they lack luxury, but because they expect luxury to solve problems it was never designed to solve. One of the most dangerous aspects of modern luxury is that it became accessible long before it became affordable. Financing, credit cards, loans, and monthly payments allow almost anyone to project wealth. Millions of people spend future money to purchase present validation. The applause arrives immediately. The debt arrives quietly. Some sacrifice years of financial freedom to maintain an image that only exists in the minds of strangers. The tragedy is not luxury itself. The tragedy is exchanging long-term freedom for short-term admiration. Looking rich is one of the most expensive hobbies in modern society. The approval lasts minutes. The payments last years, and many people discover too late that financial pressure is a very high price to pay for temporary social recognition. Modern society discovered that insecurity is profitable, extremely profitable. Entire industries depend on making people feel incomplete before offering a solution. Advertising rarely says, "You are enough." Instead, it quietly suggests the opposite. You need to be more attractive, more successful, more admired. Then, luxury is presented as the answer. Brands profit from inadequacy. Platforms profit from comparison. Influencers profit from aspiration. The more uncertain people feel about themselves, the easier they become to influence emotionally. Modern society turned insecurity into an economy. Social media accelerated this process dramatically. For most of human history, people compared themselves to a relatively small number of individuals, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and members of their community. Today, comparison happens on a completely different scale. Every day, millions of people are exposed to carefully curated lifestyles designed to appear extraordinary. Luxury vacations, designer clothes, private jets, exotic destinations, exclusive events, and expensive cars are displayed as if they were normal parts of everyday life. Even when people understand that these images represent only a fraction of reality, the emotional impact remains surprisingly powerful. The comparison still happens. A subtle feeling begins to emerge. Maybe everyone else is doing better. Maybe everyone else is moving faster. Maybe everyone else has already figured something out. And that feeling creates dissatisfaction. The more people feel dissatisfied with their own lives, the more likely they are to search for solutions outside themselves, and millions of people spend money trying to close emotional gaps that products were never capable of closing. There is a massive difference between looking rich and being rich. Looking rich attracts attention. Being rich creates freedom. Looking rich requires constant spending. Being rich often requires patience, discipline, and delayed gratification. The problem is that visible rewards arrive immediately. Admiration, recognition, and status can appear overnight. Real wealth grows quietly, without applause, without validation, without social media approval. Many people optimize perception instead of reality. They focus on appearing successful before becoming successful. Eventually, the image becomes more important than the life itself. One path creates attention, the other creates options, and options are ultimately far more valuable than appearances. One of the great paradoxes of wealth is that genuinely wealthy people often feel less pressure to display it. When security is real, performance becomes unnecessary. Many wealthy individuals prioritize freedom over visibility, privacy over attention, control over their time over admiration from strangers. The greatest luxuries are often invisible. Flexibility, independence, peace of mind, and the ability to choose how to spend each day. These forms of wealth rarely appear in advertisements because they cannot easily be sold. Yet they are often more valuable than any luxury object. Real wealth is not always loud. Sometimes it is remarkably quiet. The cost of luxury is not always financial. It can also be psychological. When identity becomes attached to possessions, peace becomes fragile. Possessions can disappear, trends change, status shifts, admiration moves elsewhere. If self-worth depends on external symbols, self-worth becomes unstable. This is why some people own more than ever before and still feel anxious. Luxury can improve comfort, but comfort and peace are not the same thing. Many people spend years collecting symbols of success while neglecting the foundations of genuine fulfillment. Eventually, they discover an uncomfortable truth. External admiration is never as satisfying as internal stability. Luxury is not the enemy. Success is not the enemy. Money is not the enemy. The real danger begins when external symbols become substitutes for internal strength. A watch cannot create self-worth. A car cannot create purpose. A brand cannot create peace. The people who appear richest are not always the freest, and the people who appear ordinary are not always poor. True wealth begins when identity no longer depends on possessions, when confidence no longer depends on admiration, when peace no longer depends on comparison. Luxury can buy attention. Luxury can buy visibility. Luxury can buy status, but it cannot buy freedom from insecurity. And in the end, freedom from insecurity may be the rarest luxury of all. Costly minds.